Over 100,000 people moved from California to Texas in 2022. Now that's according to a report that was done by the Texas Realtors in 2024. Now you want to know how many people moved back from Texas to California? Well, according to YouTube, Reddit, and a whole bunch of other sources, a shit ton. So in this video, we're going to help you out. We're going to talk about some of the things that you can expect moving from California to Texas. And we're going to touch on some things that you just don't see in other videos on the subject. It's going to get real. It's going to get raw. So stick around because this could save you hundreds of thousands of dollars from moving here, hating it, and then having to move back.
Oh my God! Wow!
And even though there is like this weird rivalry between California and Texas, they actually have more in common than they are different. They're both large states. They are both economic powerhouses with really, really diverse populations. And they both used to be Mexico. So whatever. All right, so the first difference between the two, I think this is the biggest difference, and it actually leads into all of the other things that I'm going to talk about here today. But Texas has way less of a population than California does. When we're talking about the size, the actual physical size of the states, California is like 50% smaller than Texas area-wise, but it has more people. The ratio of people in California per square mile is 241.5, and in Texas, it's less than half of that at 108 people per square mile. And that's a huge difference because in California, a lot of the people that move to here from there tell me that there are just way more options for everything. More people equals more options, more businesses, more competition, which might equal higher standards and better service. So here in Texas, we're still growing and like learning to accommodate for the amount of people that we have, where places like California have seen massive populations for years. And so they just have lots more options, better infrastructure, and they're just better built to fit the amount of people that they have. And I think with that population also equals more entertainment and more entertainment options. And that kind of leads me to my second big difference. Texas has a huge indoor culture. Here in Texas is hot, okay? And air conditioning is a must. Like I know that in some older houses in California and some parts that are like closer to the coast, air conditioning is an option. Like you might live in a place that has no central AC. Well, in Texas, you will die. And that also causes us to do more indoor activities. Now, yeah, there's hiking, there's lakes, there's all kinds of nice stuff, but California has like the ocean. It also has beautiful forests and mountains, and it actually is a little bit more diverse with its like landscaping, and I think it has a more beautiful landscape than Texas. Texans, don't kill me, but it is so hot here that a lot of the things that we do for entertainment are definitely indoor, and I think that actually leads to us having a bit bigger of a drinking culture here. So drinking like is a thing, especially if I'm in the Austin area, and like the thing that you do here is you eat and you drink. We have beautiful lakes and there are plenty of hiking activities and outdoor things to do, but in the summer it's just too hot to enjoy those. And I think California has way more of a healthy outdoor active culture than we have here in Texas. But like, feel free, Texans, chime in, let me know if I'm wrong. But the heat here is a huge factor, and the outdoor activities that we do have are mostly centered around water, even though we don't have as many beautiful beaches as Cali. But I will say, like, heat is the number one thing that takes California people by surprise. For a California summer, 85 degrees is like hot there in like more of the coastal areas. Like I know as it gets a little bit desert there, like it can be crazy, but like those aren't the places where people live for real. But in the places that are most populated in California, the average summer temperature gets up to about 85. While in Texas, that temperature is about 95. And the actual feels like temperature, like what it actually feels like on your skin, is closer to 100. And you add that to the humidity and it is miserable for some people. Like if you're not used to it, then you come here thinking it's all good, fun in the sun, and you get out in that sun and it runs your butt right back in the house. All right, the number 3 difference is gonna rub some of y'all the wrong way. A lot of the phone calls I get from people relocating from California to Texas, they ask me the question, how's the racism? And I know it's kind of crazy. And let me give my disclaimer. Like we as a country and probably as a state are like far less racist than we have been in the past. We're pretty politically divided, but I would say like the racial divide has improved and racism exists everywhere. And also like it doesn't exist in a lot of places. So I just want to make sure like you know that like I know this, I acknowledge this. But here's one of the differences that I've noticed. It feels a little racist in a lot of areas. Okay. Now, when I say this, I'm talking about the historic downtown areas in Texas. The theme of these areas is like Old West. Like they're hundreds of years old. The buildings are 100 years old. Like they were from a time where people who looked like me were not welcome in spaces like those. I still don't necessarily feel welcome in those spaces, even though I have been in those spaces and been treated just as friendly and nice. I don't have the desire to go and hang out in historic downtown Pflugerville because it looks like the Old West. And that is the case for a lot of these towns here. So I tend to spend my time in the more modern areas. It just makes me feel more comfortable. And even though those places may not be racist, those people may not be racist, for somebody who looks like me, when you go to those places, they feel a little racist, and that just is what it is. Next big difference between the two places is going to be housing prices. I know you know this already, but the people moved from California to Texas to save money on their housing prices because the average price of a house in California is actually 160% higher than houses in Texas, which is wild. But keep in mind, we do have some of the highest property taxes in the nation, and that adds up. Okay. And we did get a little bit of tax relief over the past year, and our governor wants to lower property taxes across the board. That would all be great. But as of right now, they are high. We also have pretty high homeowners insurance as well. It's because of good old climate change and like things are happening differently than they were over the past several years. Storms are worse. Hail damage on roofs are worse. In South Texas, there's worse flooding than there's ever been. Our insurance prices are up, and we actually have higher utility prices than a lot of other places in the nation. The cost of living in California is still significantly higher than it is in Texas, but Texas ain't cheap, okay? Housing prices are lower, but it's not cheap. So don't come here thinking that you're just gonna get a mansion for $200,000. That could have happened some years back, but post-pandemic, it's not going down like that. I'm sorry. Also, the good thing about our property taxes is we have homestead exemption, which puts a cap on how high your taxes can raise every year, but they're still high. And there is a graph by Business Insider that says the average mortgage payment in California, that's principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, is $26.73. And that same graph has the average payment in Texas being at $19.04. Now, my mortgage ain't that low, but there are actually a lot of places in Texas where you can go and find homes that are 200,000 or below, and they are move-in ready. Especially like my primary market to sell in, Killeen, Texas, one of my favorite places to put people who are relocating, looking for a more affordable option, because it's an hour away from Austin, 2 hours away from Dallas, 3 hours away from Houston, and it still has a median home price that is in less than 250. Like, it's more like 230 at the time of me making this video. So it's a great affordable option, and that city is growing like crazy. A few other key differences. Now, I touched on this earlier, but California has beautiful oceans. We have one part of Texas that touches the ocean, but those beaches they're not the same. The California beaches are a lot better than Texas. Like, Texas has some really flat desert areas. We also in Central Texas have some pretty lush green areas. It gets really tropical down towards South Texas, and then in West Texas, nobody's there anyway, so kind of doesn't matter. California's money base, like as far as like the best jobs, are more centered around entertainment and technology. While Texas, we are oil and gas and finance, which is actually one of the things that people don't know. Dallas is one of the biggest financial hubs in the country. And we are growing in the tech sector, especially in Austin. Like, so many great tech companies move to Austin. You can find a great tech job there. And that's probably why the house prices are so dang high. And then they are actually trying to get better in the entertainment sector. So I have had a buddy actually move from New York, not Cali. He moved from New York here instead of going to California, because the movie industry is growing so rapidly in the Austin area that he just decided to skip right over LA, come here. He says the networking is better and the future opportunities are better. So if you're in the entertainment industry, you might want to check that out. The Austin area's got some big film studios that they're building. Like, it's going to be a thing. California is known for more of its like fresh food options, and it also has like more vegan and vegetarian options. But Texas is Tex-Mex and barbecue, and both of those are absolutely delicious. I would go as far to say we got better tacos in Texas.
That's debatable. It's extremely debatable.
Also, we got Whataburger. We got In-N-Out too. I have an In-N-Out right by me, and if I compared the two, ooh, Texas people gonna be mad at me. I like the In-N-Out burger better. I can't front.
You shut your mouth.
In-N-Out is better than Whataburger. But we have In-N-Out in Texas as well. So you don't have to sacrifice there. Another big difference, California has way more walkable neighborhoods, and Texas is big on just subdivisions and suburban sprawl. Like, in Texas, you have to drive. In California, in some areas, I know you cannot have a car and pretty much have access to everything that you need. Now, that's some areas, not all the areas, of course. But in Texas, in most areas, you're gonna need a car. If you don't live downtown, you're gonna need a car. And even with that, like, things in Texas are spread out. So some of the great aspects of whatever city you live in might actually be 20 minutes away from downtown. So in order to get to there, you're gonna need to drive. Like, Texas is a driving state. We don't have the best public transportation, and it'll be nice if they bring that little rail system to go between Dallas, Houston, and Austin. Like, that's supposed to be in the plans. But until that happens, like, it's a car state. And you need your car in order to visit all the best parts of the state. So that's a big difference. But overall, I think the two states have more similarities than differences, and they both have all the essential ingredients for human happiness. So if you're deciding to make the move from California to Texas, no matter where you are in the state, I have an amazing network of real estate professionals. So reach out. I would love to hear about your goals. I'll also put a relocation guide in the description, and I'll also pin a comment for you to have easy access. My team and I put that together just in order to save you a few hours of research online. So I hope that's useful to you. If you want to know a little bit more about relocating to Texas, I've got some more videos on that. So I'll see you over there on those. So just click on those, and then me and you will hang out again. All right. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.